Good evening, healthy family. Let's jump in. It's good to see everybody. If we have anybody new, or all of us, let's just drop where we're coming from. Drop what state, city, neighborhood you representing. My name is Stanley Taylor. I am a client, but I'm also a health coach, and I'm going to be presenting this evening element number 12. This is a dope element, y'all. This is a dope element. Kind of helps us keep our minds in check, but optimizing your success and reaching a healthy weight. But let me tell you about myself. I've been on the program since January 17th. Since then, I've lost up to 70 pounds. Now, I say up to because I've been teeter-tottering back between 215 and 220. But so we're making things happen. Before I started the program, high blood pressure, my heaviest was 293, very uncomfortable, no confidence, trying to hide, just a lot going on. I felt nasty. I felt nasty. So I saw my coach, Sylvia. That's my coach. I saw her posting some things, and it was more so, I'm curious, what is Sylvia doing? What's going on? Did Sylvia get some surgery? Did she taking some pill? So she got on the call with me. As many of you all know, we did a health assessment, and I was sold. I said, I can give it a try. I can try it for 1 month. And since that 1 month, I've never looked back. This has really changed my life. It's been good to me. Like I said, I'm down as far as 70 pounds. And I needed to lose weight, though. I needed to lose weight. High cholesterol. There were a lot of changes I needed to make. I wanted to be more active with my kids, feel good while being active. And so I feel all of that now. And so I said, you know what? Here's what happened. I didn't want to coach at first, and I kept referring people to Sylvia. Sylvia said, why don't you coach them? You know them. And it made sense to me. But because it added an extra level of accountability for me to stay on program as well, to stay focused and keep reaching toward my why. Why am I doing this? Why did I start doing this? So coaching has helped me out. And it's nothing like the joy of seeing someone reach their health goals, the joy of seeing someone get healthy. It's a great feeling. It's a great experience to experience that with someone. So that's my story. I'm not looking back. And I hope none of you do either. So again, we're talking about element 12 tonight, optimizing your success and reaching a healthy weight. This is an awesome element, you guys. It talks about so much. It helps us to understand why we are not doing certain things in the program in the beginning. So I'm gonna ask you all, let me know where you're at in your program. Are you still in phase 1? You still in the weight loss phase? Let me know where you're at in your program right now. I'm still in phase 1. I need to lose at over 100 pounds. So I'm not too far from there, but let me know where you're at. But 4 things it discusses. Learn why timing is so important in terms of waiting before adding key habits of optimal health, clarifying some important guidelines. We need to know those because, our mind's like, oh, let's jump in and start doing this after that first week of weight loss. Oh, I lost a lot of weight. I'm going to run back and start doing all these activities. But timing is of the essence. So we want to understand how timing fits into this whole ordeal we're in. And then it describes why the system works the way it does, and then start using a checklist for success. That checklist is amazing. Make a copy of it. If you don't want to tear it out your book, access that checklist on a regular page, on a regular basis. Anyway, so there are some important guidelines that may create some confusion to you. I don't know a program that really even just acknowledges these kinds of things. Hey, man, there's some things you may not understand, but guess what? I've already done the math, the research to help make this simple for us. All right, we see some in maintenance. That's beautiful. That's amazing. So the first thing, when you did your health assessment or you did your kickoff call, it said no fruits, right? Everybody remember that. Did you ask yourself why? What's wrong with fruits? How come I can't eat fruits? Well, here it acknowledges how important fruits are when it comes to having long-term health. But The issue is all the sugars that fruit has. All the sugar that fruit has, it's a considerable amount of carbohydrates. And so it has a relatively high glycemic index and it delivers a high carbohydrate load. And what that does is take you out of the fat burn state. Isn't that where we want to stay? We want to stay in fat burn as much as we possibly can. So not that fruit is bad. It plays a good part. It has a lot of nutrients, antioxidants, and other optimally healthy compounds. But just in phase one, in the beginning, we're not doing fruits because the key word is fat burn. So we want to stay there as well. It was an interesting point. This can take you out of fat burning state, which we are relying on to remove your excess visceral fat. Do you keep that in mind? Which, the different levels of fat that we're trying to get rid of? That visceral fat is what fat burning is attacking. It's taking that and turning it into the energy, like this fueling source that none of the other stuff we take can really provide for us. You want to go pop a energy drink, you want to go overload on sugar. That's a different type of energy. This fat burn that the body's using, it's a different kind of energy. And so that's why we do our 5 in 1. Eat the fuelings, eat the lean and green, you'll be good. On page 232, some nice illustrations to help us understand how all of this is affecting our body. That first one, and I have to circle it because it was a little hard to see, but low insulin fat burning. If you increase the carb level above a certain threshold, it will stimulate insulin secretion. And what does it do? Shut down the fat burning machinery. So our body's a machine. It's working in a good way. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Now, we want to keep the fat burning machine going. Then the next one, habits of disease state, high insulin fat storing. Now, pay attention to how the drawings are too. It really helps us. Look at the arrows that's on the little skeleton drawing. On that first one, it's coming in. You putting in low calorie healthy fillings, and then fuels from fat cells are coming in, but we want stuff to go out. So this is what happens when people inadvertently eat something with extra sugar. So you might slip up, and maybe we didn't read the nutritional label. Maybe, we gave in. We didn't stop challenging choose, said, you know what, I have a craving for this chocolate over here, and went and filled up on some chocolate. Again, that knocks us out of our fat burning state. But we want to really focus on staying in fat burn as much as possible. Now, 233, it says, once you have reached your healthy weight and have eliminated the excessive unhealthy fat, then we reintroduce food. So after we get down to this healthy weight, well, how do you know where we're at for a healthy weight? Well, Dr. A is teaching us all of that. And it just comes down to some numbers. You can either focus on the weight or you can focus on measurements. So it comes down to a number that you really want to understand so that you don't cut your program short. You don't cut phase 1 too short. And that's why, again, timing is of the essence. Timing is important. And even when we introduce fruits back in, we want to be careful with that because we want to stay in this green zone. And that's in different elements. And it's also in our Habits of Health book as well with Dr. A. So make sure you're not just looking at the life book, but look at these different points in the Habits of Health book as well. Use them in connection on your journey so that you can really educate yourself. Again, I don't know any other program that does more than help you lose weight. This is also educating us. It's really stimulating the mind and educating us for long-term health. So Habits of Health, eating stage phase 2 and beyond. We'll get through that. We do a review to make sure that you are not accidentally consuming a hidden carb source. This can slow down or even stop your weight loss now and in the future. So timing is important. Make sure that you are reading your labels and not just the nutritional facts. Read the ingredients. That's what my coach taught me early on in the beginning. Sylvia said, well, let's look at the ingredients. The first thing we will always see, sugar. So I said goodbye. And it's okay. There's a lot of alternatives to help us on this journey because remember that goal. The goal is to stay in fat burn state. So on page 234, it says eliminating these hidden or not so hidden sources of carbs can be the difference between success and failure. So that little bitty thing that we're not paying attention to can really, give us a week of great numbers, great victories, scale and non-scale, or if we're not paying attention, then we're like, man, what is going on? Why haven't I lost weight? Why did I gain weight? And it's a lot of different things. And that even includes not eating feelings. So again, eat the feelings, eat the 5 feelings, eat the lean and green as is outlined. If you're not on 5 and 1, if that's not your plan, you're on 4, 12 and 1. Just stick to it. And while you're in the early stages, right? So the first thing we're cutting out, that's the first thing it mentions, is fruits. Reason why? The high carbs. We don't need that right now. We're trying to lose as much weight as we can. And it's still going to be in a healthy way. But we'll get back to the fruits. So maybe you could share what your favorite fruits are. I miss berries. Berries were my favorite thing. Raspberry, blueberries, blackberries. Give me some strawberries, a nice little bowl of that. I miss it, but I'll be back to it soon. Watermelon too. All right, so the other thing, no or reduce exercise during the first 3 weeks of phase 1. No or reduced exercise. It's important, and I was in my health assessment, but on my kickoff, I'm like, man, I like to ride my bike. I was trying to lift weights. It was just trust the process. Trust the process because you're going to lose weight. But here, like on page 35, the reason why it's either minimized or taken away is because you don't want to injure yourself. You could really injure yourself, especially if you're pushing yourself excessively. You can hurt yourself. You can really hurt yourself. And so the idea here is just, it's all about timing. Pay attention to timing, where you're at in your journey. It's okay. And then when you start introducing exercise back in, like I went months. I used to ride my bike all the time, at least 3 times a week. And we're talking at least 15-mile ride, at least. So, and I'm pushing, I'm sweating, I'm burning a good amount of calories. I missed it, but it was okay because I like seeing the numbers I was losing too. So sacrifices. So I've recently started back just a little bit. But we'll talk about that. It says your body is switching fuel sources and is not accustomed to using fat as its main energy source. Remember that with your body. Your body is not accustomed to using fat as a main energy source. Since you're dropping your calorie intake, if we do not go slow, there's a chance that you will become hypoglycemic or have low blood sugar and not feel very well. So that's another reason why we reduce exercise or minimum or take it away, because you don't want to be out there feeling dizzy, about to pass out. Let's say you're by yourself, you're being bold and taking a chance, and you wake up in the hospital or something. So be careful. I do, James. I do. All right. So then there's different levels of working out as well. So you have those who are just minimally active, and that's fine. Phase 1 program focuses on the quantity and quality of the food you eat to put you in fat burning state. So, minimal active, and we're not just talking about getting out there and having some exercise routine. You can be active to a degree where, you take your dog for a walk. Maybe you take the steps instead of the elevator or escalator. That's being active. Choosing to do, maybe park a little further. You're going to the grocery store, park a little further and take those extra steps. Okay. But as your weight decreases, then you start to get into some of the heavier things that you have going on, or you can increase your activity. So now my weight decreased. I started back bike riding and it felt so good. It felt different being 70 pounds lighter riding a bike as before. When I was 280, 290, it felt way different. So this is another element where you want to dig into the Habits of Health book, and there's certain parts in there, parts 2.9 to 2.12, to see just how you implement progressively, introduce exercising back into your regimen. Now, currently moderately active, something that stood out to me is virtually impossible to lose weight consistently with exercise alone. So we don't want to just rely on exercise alone. We still need to focus on the fact that our diet is important. Our diet plays a big part in our weight loss and in maintenance. So as we transition, when you feel like, okay, I think I'm ready to get into maintenance, we go through this transitional phase. You want to pay attention to how the things you're introducing back into your regimen and see if you're able to maintain your weight loss for at least 2 weeks. That's important. So pay attention to that, okay? But as you start working out more, it says to sandwich your fueling on either side of your workout. So, a shake before, this is just a recommendation or example, a shake before and a bar with a glass of water after your workout. Now, some of us, are just intense people who like to work out, like to sweat hard. So if that's your current activity, the 5-in-1 may not be a good fit for you because you need to eat more calories. And the thing about eating let's say on the 5-in-1, you should get to working out hard. You're going to want to eat more. You want to compensate that calorie burn. And so what is that going to do? Just say it with me. It's going to take you out of fat burn state. And that's where we want to stay. So if you're serious about not just losing fat burn, but gaining muscle, it will be worthwhile to talk to a trainer. You can do that, but keep your coach involved in that conversation too. So the summary of this, if you're inactive, when you start the program, we'll begin increasing your motion as you start feeling better, losing weight, and feeling more energized. If you are currently active, cut back a little until you get into a solid fat burning state and your body gets acclimated to how your new lifestyle. If you're hardcore into significant intense activity, then move at a pace that allows your body to adjust so that you will lose unhealthy fat. So, there's a whole section about, whole foods. Whole foods are not bad either. Whole foods are good, but again, just trust the process. Those are things that are removed from the beginning of in phase 1. It's just a temporary breakup. You'll get back together and in a better way because now you'll have a better understanding of how to introduce whole foods back into your diet. You'll feel better, have more energy. We're going to sleep better. Trust the process of phase 1. Let's move over to page 243. This checklist was amazing to me. So if you haven't seen this checklist yet, like I said, make a copy of it, rip it out, or just refer back to this on a regular basis. This is going to help us be successful. There's a few things on here that really stood out to me. The first one, eat one fueling every 3 hours. We know it says 2 to 3 hours, but if you can push it to 3, go for it. But don't skip a meal. Even if you don't feel hungry, don't skip a meal. Notice there again, your weight loss may be slower if you don't eat all of your scheduled meals. Eat slowly. So sometimes we're on the move, we'll just take that thing back real quick. Don't do that. Take a moment. Chew slow. Let the flavors marinate. Get an idea of how they, what are you tasting? What feelings is this bringing? Eat slow. Don't rush, okay? Now, our next thing, use your support system. This is another one that stood out to me. Use your support system. You get it with the program. Use it. You have a support system. Make them work, okay? They're your coaches. We're your coaches. Make us work. Limit your, another important one, because this is another element. Connect with your community as well. If you're not on social media, we understand that. If you can strongly consider it for the purposes of being more involved with the community, that's great, but the community is here too. So it's good that you're always here or you watch the recordings. Limit the caffeine intake, avoid alcohol. This is a big one because I was a big whiskey drinker. I love a good glass of whiskey. It says avoid alcohol. It causes dehydration, throws you out of the fat burning state. So got to keep that in mind. Now, I like this one. If you slip up, just get right back on track. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not next week. If you slip up, get right back on track on your next fueling or your next meal. Don't procrastinate, okay? All right. So how long we're in phase 1 really depends on us. Timing is of the essence. But some factors are, how much weight do you have to lose? Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's a little. Like for me, I need to lose over 100 pounds. So I'll be in phase 1 for a little while. But here are some numbers that we want to keep in mind. If your waist circumference is less than 37 inches for men, or 31.5 inches for women, and your BMI is less than 25, then you're ready to transition to a healthy eating phase, okay? Keep those numbers in mind. That's on page 244. Excuse me. Another factor to consider is our weight loss can vary depending on our gender and certain medical conditions that may slow down our weight loss. So if you do have slow weight loss, consider, just kind of analyze, is it me or like, am I following the program, or is it a medical condition you may have? So talk these things over. These are some things that stood out to me. I really want to just open it up to everybody right now. We'll get a few comments on, but this was a really great element because of what it discusses. But I'd like to hear from you. What did you appreciate about element number 12? Please, Gwen Smith.
Okay, so yeah, this is something that you and I just recently talked about, Coach. You were about using your support system, and I actually feel better because I actually missed fueling, and it was like I didn't want to eat, and that's really not my nature, and that does put me in a situation where I don't lose, I get out of fat burn. So you were helping me to get back on point by, you said, share your goals with the community. So I did. Felt better, been doing pretty good these past couple of days since doing it, staying with the program. And I'm getting input back from my peers on how to stay on and everything. So that does help when we put it out there, what our goals are, put it out there, what we're trying to reach. And our group will help us a lot. So that point I really do like.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Gwen. And I'm happy you're starting to utilize that. We definitely want to tap into our community support groups and all of that. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Let's go to Carol.
Stanley, I just want to say, man, you killed it. So I don't have a comment. You touched on everything, I think. I will say this about the bike riding. I went bike riding too, and with my husband this weekend, and it feels amazing with less weight, right?
Yes.
We went on a bike ride one time through what we call flatlands. It's 11 miles with it's just all sidewalks for bike riding and skating, and in a park. And we got stuck there late at night. The park was closing. I could hear I don't know if they were coyotes I heard them running. And my husband and I was stuck there, and I could barely pedal. And we were maybe, I don't know, 6 miles out from getting to our car, and they were closing everything down. Literally, the lights were going off. It was really scary. And my husband was leaving me in the dust. But this time we went this weekend, I kept thinking to myself, if he don't speed up, my goodness, that man is riding too slow. So I'm like a whole different person. So I get you on that. Makes a big difference.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going bike riding tomorrow morning, Carol. We'll share our mileage. Let's go to Felton Burton, please. Felton Burton.
Yes, I like the portion where you covered about our BMI and our circumference of our waistline. I'm not there yet, but I've been noticing that my pants been slipping down still. I bought a smaller belt, and I got to punch holes in the one that's smaller. So, I've been having some ups and downs, as you know, because you're my coach, and I've been going back and forth with you. But I'm at 202 now, and what was it? A week or two ago, I was 206, and I was fighting with that 206.
Mm-hmm.
But still working on it. And as you may mention, you may slip up, but don't skip your fueling. If you eat too much lean and green, don't skip the fueling. So we just got to stick with it.
There you go. There you go. Great job. Keep it up, brother. Let's get a final thought there from Viviana.
Hi, Stanley.
Wow.
That was wonderful. Yeah, I don't have a lot much to say. I do really enjoy a lot when you say when you sleep up, when we just have this little like, because we're humans, right? We all fall out a little bit. And the beautiful thing that the program and the community that we have is like, if that happens, we're human, just call your coach. And instead like begging yourself, like this is not working or I feel horrible today. So I love so much the feedback that you say, because that happens to all of us. And just going back and remind ourselves that also this is a mindset. So instead like getting back to that whole habits, like, oh, doing this is just go back to the mindset, go back to your team, go back to the community. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One thing I wanted to mention here, listen, the goal, and this is on page 245, make small incremental improvements one day at a time. One day at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. And don't get comfortable because you see this, oh man, I lost a lot of weight, because I've dealt with that too. I lost a lot of weight and I'm ready to get back out there and start doing all kinds of things. So just trust the process. Trust the process. One more thing here. The goal is to get just 1% better each day. So evaluate, track, and make adjustments to get just a touch better each day. Remember that. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just get better 1% every day. I want to thank you all. You made this easy for me. I appreciate your comments. Stick to your journey. Stick to your journey. Make sure you're having great communication with your coach, the community, your support system. I'm turning it back over to James, and we'll transition to our next phase. Thank you all.
So good. Wow, Stanley, man, brother, that was incredible. Good job, man. I love the way you covered the element and all the points you brought out. But thank you everyone for sharing the points and the tips and the takeaways that you got from it. This is good. One of my favorite elements, because I get a lot where people will say, well, James, why can't I eat fruit? Or why are we eating fuelings? Or what about whole food? Why can't I exercise? And we have some incredible, Stanley, when you mentioned hardcore, we have some hardcore trainers in this group that are coaches. And Vivi, Deontay, just to name a few. But it's so cool that we have Dr. A really sets us up for no matter what your health goals are. So good. Stanley, appreciate you covering that. So we are going to transition into our coaching call. And I know usually a lot of you guys will jump off at this moment, but this is where I'm going to, especially tonight, I'm going to encourage you to stay on and to hang around for a little bit. For our clients, as we transition to our coaching call. Of course, if you have to go, then that's okay. But if you can stay on a little bit just to kind of see what we got going on these next couple 30 minutes, I think you will be highly impressed and hopefully maybe inspired and motivated. So I'm super excited because we have a guest speaker on, and that's why I want to encourage you guys to stay on tonight. We have a guest speaker that just joined us. And many of you guys know Jamil Frazier. Many of you guys probably don't know. You guys are like, who is this guy that you guys are asking me to stay on for? But want to talk a little bit about Jamil Frazier. He's our guest speaker that's going to be coming on and sharing and talking with us today. Let's see, in the 5 years I've been coaching this thing for 5 years, pretty much everything I know when it comes to OPTAVIA and coaching is because of Jamil. When I reached out to Jamil 5 years ago, I wasn't a client or coach, but I was looking for more in my health, and not so much physically, but more mentally and financially. I was looking for a tool, a vehicle to where I wanted to impact, and I wanted to help a lot of people, but I also wanted freedom. I wanted freedom in my life. I wanted freedom in my finances. I wanted freedom in my mindset. And so I've done a lot of different things in pursuit of that. And it wasn't until I came across a guy's Facebook post. And long story short, 5 years later, I'm here. A lot of us are here because of Jamil and because Flora and I made this decision to really transform our health and our life. So This is exciting because we haven't had Jamil on this call in a long time. So I said, Jamil, we got to get you on. We got to get you on to come share and speak to our group, speak to our coaches. But you guys, just a little bit about Jamil, and we'll get him on. But best-selling author, has a beautiful family, 3 kids, 1 on the way. I've known his wife since the 4th grade. And that's kind of how we connected. But I've known Amanda, his wife, since the 4th grade. We went through elementary, junior high, and high school together. Kind of lost connection after that, but I connected with Jamil 5 years ago, and you know, this is why most of us are here today. But Jamil, again, best-selling author, amazing man. To me and Flor, our personal coach and mentor, and over the years he's been doing this, have impacted thousands and thousands and thousands of people to transform their health physically, mentally, and financially. So I'm gonna stop talking and pumping him up, but I can go all day about this guy, because what he's done for us and our personal life has been amazing. And again, we're here because of him, and a lot of you guys are here because of Jamil. So we wanted to invite him on to come on and share. I really told him, Jamil, you know, he kind of has an idea because he's very involved with me and Flo in our business. So he kind of have an idea of where we're at and where our group is at. And so I said, you can come on and just inspire us, motivate us through your story, through your transformation, and really help us to, you know, what's possible with this thing as clients, as coaches. Just kind of think bigger and dream bigger and what's possible through your story. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our coach and mentor, Jamil Frazier. You there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Karina just left, so I felt my heart just, I was like, man, I didn't even say anything yet. Karina, give me a chance. Who's on here who is, I don't want to say just a client with OPTAVIA, but who's on here who's not a coach? Drop a 1 in the chat so I can see who we are working with. Joseph, I see you. Felton. Anyone else here not a coach? Sharon's iPhone, Renita. I see you guys. Crystal, Crystal, Kathy. Wow. Who else? Oh, we got a lot of people. Tanya, Wanda, Gloria, Evelyn. So first, Claudia, I see you, Claudia Bryant. I almost feel like everyone with the last name Bryant these days kind of got a coach, since there's so many Bryants who are coaching. But anyhow, I want to talk to you guys. I love you guys, and I know that I don't know you quite yet, but I love you. And I love every single coach that I see on here as well. Stanley, you killed it. I was on for the last couple minutes. I'm so proud of you. I see my sister Barbara Bryant is on, Cheryl Mooney, Carol. I see Kathy, Donna Fleming. Hi, my friend. Vivi, we're just talking about you this morning. Claudia Bryant, Ricky, one of my most inspirational people I probably ever met in my life. Definitely in my top 5. Jamie, Sylvia Wynn, Lenita, I see you, Shadon, Crystal Green, all of you guys. Tamara. I love this group, man. I remember 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I found this program. And I keep saying that I love the clients that's on here because, you know, some of you guys accidentally found this program. Some of you guys needed to really find this program. Some of us, man, we just needed a win. Any of you guys were like that? You were just taking a lot of losses, maybe for some of you guys just a couple days ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. In my life at that time, I felt like I had done everything right. And I don't know if any of you guys have felt like that. Like, you know, I was a good kid. I got good grades. I went to college. I played college football. I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I got married out of college, got a great job as a pharmaceutical salesman for Johnson & Johnson. Like I did everything that society kind of said that we should do. but I was still falling into a rut. And part of that rut was I couldn't figure out how to be healthy. Anyone else like that on this call? Like, you just couldn't figure it out. You wanted to, and you tried all these different things, and it may have worked for a little bit, but then you would find yourself right back in the same sorry situation 12 months later. That was how I came into OPTAVIA. And I was taking a lot of L's. You guys put L's in the chat. L's is for losses. And I just needed a win. And so when I started this, it was a leap of faith. My best friend's mom had come to my wife and I and said that she was doing something that was really working for her and thought that we should check it out. And I had no idea. I didn't know the name. I didn't know these little packets. I didn't know fuelings. I didn't know nothing. All I knew was I trusted my best friend's mom. And if it worked for her, then I don't know, man, maybe it worked for me. And so that was a leap of faith. And sometimes a lot of you guys, you know, you took a leap of faith too, and now you're starting to see that it worked. And so the one thing that this program gave me that first week that I was on plan was something called hope. And I had lost 10 pounds, and I had never lost 10 pounds on any program. I spent my life working out, and nothing had ever really worked for me like OPTAVIA worked for me. And then my next week, I lost weight. The week after that, I lost weight. I started changing goals. When I first started this, my coach asked me what my goals were. I was so nervous that it wouldn't work. I didn't even tell her the truth as to what I wanted to do. I lied to my best friend's mom. I mean, how low can you get? And then once I said, well, maybe I can get to 200 pounds. And then I said, maybe I can get back to where I was when I got married at 185. Maybe I can get to 175, get to where I'm supposed to get to at my height and for my weight, which was back to where I was when I was in high school. But when I was way over 200 pounds, I didn't have that vision. And James wanted me to talk a little bit about what's possible. What's amazing is what I tell people all the time is if you can lose weight, you can do anything. If you can lose weight, man, you can absolutely do anything. Because it's the same mechanisms. It's the same thing that you guys were just talking about. And it all starts from, sometimes you got to make a decision. You have to decide. And so that's what happened with me. I didn't want to coach, if I can be honest with this group. That wasn't appealing to me. So some of you guys that put your hand up that's not a coach, I understand. I didn't start this thing because I wanted to start. In fact, how many of you coaches that are currently coaching, how many of you guys said that you would never ever coach? Put a 2 in the chat. How many of you guys were like, I ain't doing that coaching thing? How many? Usually most of us. And the same thing happened with me. I said, I'm not doing that coaching thing. I thought to be a coach, you had to be like 65 years old. And the reason why I thought that is because both of my coaches were what? In their mid-60s. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so for all of you guys that said you're not a coach, I get it. I wasn't trying to be a coach, but I just wanted some wins. And those wins resulted in people taking notice. How many of you guys, whether you're a client or you're a coach, at some point in time in your journey, how many of you guys, you have somebody say to you, hey, something look different about you? Or hey, Cheryl, what you doing? Because I just saw you 3 weeks ago and I'm seeing you now. You trying to get healthy without me? That's what they say. You trying to get healthy, especially the women, right? Hey, you trying to get healthy without me? And so that started happening to me, and I ended up referring about 15 people over to my coach. Now, here's the deal. On the outside, everything looked good. I'm in pharmaceutical sales. My wife is a teacher. You could have easily made the mistake of thinking we got it all going on and financially there's no issues. the truth was we were in great debt. We had a lot of student loans. We were barely making rent sometimes, and we didn't have a savings, and we definitely didn't have any sort of investing. We had a 1-year-old child, and literally both were really scared because we didn't know what the future would look like because we didn't have any margin in our finances. And my coach didn't know that. But what she did is she said, hey, from all these people you referred over to me, guess how much OPTAVIA has compensated me simply for doing what you were doing, which was loving on them. I said, how much? She told me, Barbara Bryan, I said, hey, how soon can you send me my clients back and start telling me how to do this coaching thing? And that's how it really started. And then about a month and a half later, how many of you guys know that the creator of this plan that you're doing that's really starting to work for you, his name's Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. Put a 3 in the chat if you kind of caught on to that. So about a month and a half later, I had a chance to go meet this man. And he was training about 2,000 coaches. And in that seminar, I was awakened. And I fell in love with his mission. And I had mistakenly thought that this whole thing, Kathy Bennett, was about losing weight. That was a mistake. But again, you don't know what you don't know. And what I started to realize was that this was so much bigger than that. And I wanted to be a part of something that was a mission, that was a movement, that changed people's lives, that resurrected people's lives, that gave people a chance to have purpose and fulfillment and to become the dominant force of their own life. I heard story after story of the, carols that are out there. I heard story after story about, the Ricky Thorntons that are out there in this world, and that there's so many people that need what we have. And then they showed me how I could maybe create something that was a legacy for my small family at the time and my future family. And I fell in love with it. And I knew that I was going to go all in with it. I remember making a decision, James. And the decision at the time, I was living in Long Beach, California. James and myself grew up in what they call the San Gabriel Valley in Southern California. And I was sitting in this audience in Washington, D.C., and I could see it. And I remember making a decision that I want to help everybody from Long Beach up to where I grew up near Pasadena and everyone in between. And I want to see all these people's lives change. And I want to be the reason as to why that happened. We talk about purpose. We talk about fulfillment. We talk about freedom. I've seen so many coaches like you guys and so many normal people that had created in a span of 5 to 10 years a reality that they could not create in 60 years for working for a company. And I was 31 years old at the time. And in that audience, I made a decision that by the time I was 42 years old, I will help enough people that I never had, that I could be free. That if I never wanted to work another day in my life, I wouldn't have to. And so a little bit about what's possible. I remember doing a training for this executive team, and it was kind of fascinating. I want you guys to write something down. What are my dreams? What are my dreams? And here's the truth. The second thing I want you to write down on a piece of paper is, I want you to do a little case study, Cheryl, tomorrow, okay? Tonight, I want you to shoot a text message to 5 or 10 people And I want you to ask them, hey, Kathy Bennett, what are your dreams? And unfortunately, the majority of them are going to come back and they're going to say what? What do you think they'll say? Do a little case study. What do you think they'll say? Put it in the chat. I remember years ago, I asked my wife this question. I asked my wife, I sent her a text. I said, sweetie, just curious, what are your dreams? And she said, what do you mean? Like my dreams that I had last night? Unfortunately, you're going to get responses that are like that. Or a lot of you guys put in the chat, I don't know. Why do you think there's so many people that's out there that don't know? Why? Why when you ask 10 people that question, 8 of them are going to look at you with a confused face? And these are grown-ups. Why? So here's what I learned. When I was 31 years old, OPTAVIA started to teach me how to create. Write this word down, please. How to create anything that you want. And they started to teach me how to create anything that you want in life. See, in your life book, what's really cool is when you open up to element 2, they start to create you, or they start to teach you how to create what you want. But they do it in terms of your health, right? Don't they? When you open up life book number 2 and it starts talking about structural tension and it says, what do you want? And it starts talking about your current reality and all those things. Not until I started coaching did they start teaching me how to create anything that I wanted in life. And that's what I'm on this call to do. Because I'm on this call to just kind of tickle your imagination a little bit. I'm on this call to ask you, are you living the life that you actually want to be living? And most people cannot answer that because most people have not spent the time to think about what? How do I wish to live? What do I want? What are my dreams? And so because we fail to ask ourselves those questions, guess what we sit in? Mediocrity and comfort. So here's my question to you, Kathy Bennett. What are your dreams? So in the quiet of the night tonight, the clock strikes 10 p.m. You're in bed, the covers are rolled up halfway, the night lamp is on. You have, of course, your Habits of Health book in your lap, and you start thinking, what do I want? What are my dreams? If time was not an option or a factor, if money was not a factor, if I'm in optimal health, what do I want? And I started doing that. And at 31 years old, I started figuring out, how do I wish to live my life? And it was very clear for me. I wanted to first and foremost live a stress-free life. Okay? I wanted to be happy. Okay? Then I just have to say, well, what's going to make me happy, Stanley? What's going to make me happy is walking the beach every single day. What's going to make me happy is doing yoga in the middle of the day, 5 days a week. What's going to make me happy It's being able to show up as the husband and the father that I feel like I've been called to show up as. What's going to make me happy is not having to go into a job or wear a suit that I don't want to wear, or wear Rolex watches just to show these physicians that my company supersedes the next company. What's going to make me happy? To live in financial abundance. What's going to make me happy? To become the dominant force of my own life and my own days. What's going to make me happy? To have true purpose and fulfillment. Is what I'm doing right now going to get me to those things? No. No, it's not. And so this company allows you to create. So I just want you to do this on your piece of paper. At the top of it, I want you to put down, what are my dreams and what do I want? Okay? What are my dreams and what do I want? What are my dreams, Stanley? And what do I want? Take out fear. Take out self-doubt. Take out excuse making. Take out you don't believe that you can do it. I didn't believe that I could get below 200 pounds, and guess what happened? I did. That was 10 years ago. Guess where I'm at now? Below 200 pounds. You don't have to believe. You just got to put it down. So what do you want? That goes up here, okay? At the bottom, I want you to put, what is your current reality? How are you living currently? And what is actually true for you? What was true for me in my life was I was working 10 to 12 hours a day. That was true for me. What was true for me, let me see. What was true for me was I was stressed out. What was true for me was I didn't have any savings. What was true for me was I was over $100,000 in debt. That's called my current reality. And that's also called the truth. And here's the deal. Most people don't want to dream because most people don't really want to look at what's actually happening right now. What is truth? And what the truth is, most people in the United States are about 3 months away from losing a job, from losing everything. That's the truth. And sometimes we don't really want to be honest. But that's the truth. So you guys got your current reality at the bottom, right? In the middle, all I want you to do is ask yourself this question. And the great thing about OPTAVIA is they always give us coaches and they always give us mentors. So if we don't know the answers, guess who we can go to? These free people that they gave us. Now, I want you all to repeat after me and say free. Free. Now, if they give you free people that are willing to help you and have taken this path before you, and you got access to these free people all the time, what do you think might be smart to do? Use these people a lot. That's what I've been doing for 10 years. I've never paid them anything. Thank you so much, OPTAVIA. So use these free people. I want you to say, what are the 3 to 4 things that I need to start doing every day to take me from my current reality up to what it is that I want to create? And if you're not sure what these 3 to 4 things are, just ask your coaches and your mentors. They'll help you. Okay? Here's what I want to leave you with. If you can lose a pound on this program, if you can lose 5 pounds, if you can lose 10 pounds, you can create whatever it is that you want in your life. Because it takes the same things. It takes making a decision. You guys write that down. I got to decide. It takes giving up things that do not serve you, like freaking pumpkin pie and pumpkin bread and pumpkin lattes and all those things. If you can give up a freaking pumpkin latte, you can give up the same things in your life that's going to bring you great happiness and fulfillment. So it's going to take giving up. It's going to take delayed gratification. It's going to take having a work ethic. Again, if you can lose weight, you can do anything. I really believe this. And last thing I'll leave you with is this. I was broke and I was 31 years old when I started coaching. By the time I was 36 and a half, should I say this? I'm just going to say it and let you guys figure it out. I set a goal when I was 31 to at least earn my first million by the time I was 36 and a half. And that's exactly what happened. I set a goal to help at least 100,000 people when I was 31 by the time I was 37. And that's exactly what happened. I had set a goal to repair my marriage because I didn't tell you guys my wife was going to leave me. I just kind of cut that out. And she's still with me, and we're about to have our fourth child. Mind you, in 2014, I wrote a letter to myself and to my future self. And in that letter, I literally projected that we would have the amount of kids that we have now and that their names would basically be what they are now. And that's exactly what's happened. I projected so many things over the years that have happened. And we're all just normal people. But you guys have an extraordinary program. And many of you guys still see it as weight loss. And because you got to go through your evolution. But what as a program that can help you create anything you want in your life. So James, I'll turn it back to you.
Love it. You guys, whew. Again, this is 5 years ago what he helped me to really understand and why we've been able to do what we've done over the years. But can we please, you guys throw some love in the chat. Throw a couple of 7s in the chat just to thank Jamil for his time and his energy. One thing I failed to mention, you guys, is his kids right now are at football practice and his daughter's at cheerleading practice. So Jamil, thank you, appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time to jump on this call in your car to do this call for us, to inspire us, to thank us, and to just really just show us through your story and what you've done and what you've created, what's possible. So really, really do appreciate you. I want to thank you for your time and jump on, you guys. And everything he said is true. You know, it's true. And so this is why we are so pumped up. This is why we are so fired up. This is why we're so excited about what we have and what we get to accomplish and what we get to do in other people's lives. And I know a lot of us here, we have a lot of clients still on, which is really exciting. You guys, thank you guys for staying and joining. But this is why as coaches, we get so pumped up and excited is because, yeah, we know we can help people get healthy and lose some weight. Like, that's amazing. That's cool. That's really, really amazing. But we have a tool, we have a vehicle, we have a community where we can help people transform their lives in all areas. And so, and this is what Jamil has done, and he's helped thousands of people do that over the years. And something we all have access to this same system and the exact same program. So again, thank you guys for being on. I really do appreciate it. Again, I know Jamil's left, but Jamil, thank you for your time. Appreciate you. I'm going to get this playback, this recording out to you guys immediately. So if there's anybody that you guys know that you feel that what Jamil said, what he shared today can benefit them, It can help them, whether it's in their health journey, mentally, financially. I'll send the recording out in our different groups or to your coach so that your coach can send it to you so that you guys can share this with anybody that you guys feel can benefit from it. So we'll see you guys all next week. Stan, thanks again for leading us in the element tonight. Great job, brother. Appreciate you. And we'll see you guys all same place, same time next week, Element 13, our life book. Everybody have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, Stanley.
You're welcome. Thank you.